Welcome to Bandit's Keep Actual Play. I'm Daniel. Today we are continuing my original Dungeons & Dragons actual play. I'm playing solo using Chainmail as my combat system and outdoor survival for navigation, if you will. We're launching a new group here. We're using the same name, the same patron, Foxes, but it's a brand new group. They're heading out into the wilds to do their first dungeon, and it's always nice to start a new group, but it's also slow going. So we'll see how a bunch of new adventurers with no horses fare in the wilderness. Okay, so the new Foxes are heading to their dungeon. This is an unexplored dungeon. Unlike some of the maps where we know where they're going to, this one, nobody's been to it yet. The mapper just mapped it out, so I don't know what's in there yet, so we'll find out. We'll both be surprised when we get there. But lucky for them, their map is very close. They're starting here, and they're only going here. Now, they are on foot because they're a first level party who's never done anything. They do take 3 weeks rations with them, just like they always do, because you never know. And I'm bringing in a new mechanic now. So this is from the Solo Wargamers guide, which I'll put a link to. And what we do here is, we're in December, right? December 24th. We're going to roll on this chart, 2d6 to get a baseline. Okay, 11. Okay, 11 is snow. Okay. Ooh, all right. Do they want to leave when it's snowing? I mean, they don't really need to leave. So, you know what I'm saying? They're not really under any rush. So it might not make sense for them to leave because with multiple days of snow, they'll get stopped. So I'm going to roll a couple days and see when the snow stops. So that's the 24th. Okay, it goes up 1 on the 25th, 26th. It switches to fog. We'll go, so that's 2 days of snow, and then we'll switch one more day. 5. Oh, 5 goes up back to snow again. That's the 27th. Back to fog on the 28th. Back down again to snow, 29th. Oh, man. Okay, if they don't get it by the 1st, they're going to have to go. So let's see, 30th. Okay, it's right here. It's rain. It's foggy. I think they're just going to go for it. So in fog, movement on the first day, well, all days, you lose a quarter of your movement. Well, moving on foot, they only have 3 hexes. So a quarter wouldn't really be a whole hex, but I'll just say they can move 2 hexes one day, then 3 the next. Let's do it that way. Or vice versa, however you want to do it. So remember one thing we have to do here, we're leaving on the 30th. Did I say the 30th? We're just going to say the 30th, because I lost track. We're leaving on the 30th. They didn't have to eat rations, obviously, because they were in town. It just doesn't make sense to leave. The reason why this does matter is because there's other groups exploring, other maps going in and out, so they do want to get in and out as fast as possible. So you might say, well, who cares? Just start when it's clear. But this does matter because now they're starting, you know, potentially a week after or something, other groups. Okay, so anyways, let's do this. Using outdoor survival rules, we're in the clear on a roll of a 1. We are lost. 2, we are not lost, so we can move 2 hexes today. 1, 2, we stop. In the clear, on the roll of a 6, there's an encounter. 5. Okay, so no encounter on the foggy day. Tomorrow we'll get to move, well, we only need 2 hexes to get where we're going, so it won't actually matter, but now the next thing we have to do, we have to roll, because if it's snow, that might be a problem. So we're going to roll a d6 for the weather. I'm only count them if they're in the box. 6, it goes up 1, which is bad. Oh, no, up is good. That goes to the X, which is light rain, which, again, is not necessarily a big deal, because I think that it cuts our movement not at all on the first day. Light rain on day 1 is 0 for the movement. Okay, so light rain on day 1 is 0 for the movement, so it doesn't affect us. We can move in our full 3 if we wanted to, but we only need 2, and we get to our location. Okay, so that only took 2. Well, hold on. I'm not done yet. We have to check to see if there's an encounter. There is not. Okay, that's good. So now we get to our location on, that'd be January 1st. And the current weather is at 2, 3. Okay, because obviously every day we stay, that could change and we might get stuck there. Luckily, it's not that far away. That's good for this group because it's a pretty big dungeon at 25,000 gold pieces in here. So that means they're probably going to have to come back and forth multiple times as first level characters. All right, easy traveling for the foxes. The party has reached the destination and realized this is a tent city, if you will, the camp of a bandit king. And of course, that doesn't mean they don't want to recover some treasure from this. So what we're going to do here is something a little different. Or I guess not so different if you watch the, the Rangers. I've once again made a hex flower. So what I decided was with this many bandits in this group of characters, there's no way they're going to fight them in open combat. I also decided I could put the bandits in a dungeon, which would have been fun, but I thought this might be a more fun way to do it. Let's play something where the characters aren't necessarily going to be going in to fight a bunch of stuff. Instead, they're going to do a stealth mission. So I've actually, this is all the treasure that exists that I had rolled in this space, I should say, not in the world, obviously. It is January 1st. The weather is on 3, which is light rain. So they're going to actually go in on January 2nd. So I will roll the weather again before we move forward. And if you're part of my Patreon, you've probably seen this. This is a little adventure module. It didn't print very well here. That describes what we're going to do here. But I will describe it for you because obviously you may or may not have read this. This is a hex flower. What this effectively is a means to kind of abstract the camp. This is a large bandit camp and there's lots of things going on. Through a set of procedures, almost a mini board game, if you will, we're going to be able to move our group around and hopefully steal some treasure and get out alive. So this character here is going to represent our player characters, this little halfling. And they're going to start here in Hex 1. This is the entrance to the camp. Okay? While the adventure is going on, I don't have any bandits in this scale, so I'm going to use orcs. There's going to be roving bandits that are going to be moving around using the same hex flower procedure, which I'll explain in a second. Also, depending on where the player characters land, there may be nothing that happens. There may be benefits or penalties to where they are. If they encounter the roving bandits, that will be an encounter. If they run into a guard post, that's potentially an encounter. If they run into some of these areas, they will gain or lose insight or recon. So insight and recon are two meta currencies, if you will, that the party can use. So the way this meta currency works is recon or insight can be used to change the facing from which a player character leaves a hex, which we'll talk about in a second. They can also be used to change the facing from which the enemy that's roving leaves a hex, and they can be used to avoid enemies. The only place that, so there is a difference here, the only place that insight is different is that insight can be used to avoid the roving bandits, if you will. So quick example would be, let's say my player characters are here and the bandits are come into the space, or they come into the space of the bandits. They can use insight to just simply evade. Of course, better to not get in the square to start off with, or the hex as it would be. So we'll try to avoid that. I'm going to use 2 dice here to measure my insight and my recon. So insight is going to be this white die. Recon is going to be this black. We start with 1 insight, 2 recon. They can go up and down. The final mechanic here that we may or may not use is the player characters can choose to stay put. And if they do, they roll a die and they either gain insight or the enemy gains insight. What the enemy is going to do with theirs is immediately use it every time. So I'm not going to like rack up more insight for them. If they get 1, they'll use it. And if they get to a negative space, then nothing will happen for them. You'll see that work. Now, a couple important spaces here before we kind of start up. This is how we get in and out. There's a minor treasure here, major treasure here. If the player characters get a major treasure and decide to keep investigating, we'll start them back here. And then they do it again. If they get a major treasure and say, I want to leave, then we switch to the retreat hex, which is basically the opposite exploration and makes it more difficult to leave. And there's a few other little things in between, which we'll deal with if they come up, but let's just get going so we're not sitting here. I guess I should introduce the party. This is the first time we have this new first level party. Halfling fighter, dwarf fighter, elf magic user, dwarf fighter, human cleric. Both magic users are taking a sleep spell. So the way this process works is one step at a time. First we go, and then they go. I'll also make it a point to say that the party didn't know it was here to start off with, so I'm not giving them, in the module you have a chance to like research and get some information. I didn't give them that because I assumed that they weren't sure what was here. So if we come back to this, which we almost certainly will, there's tons of treasure in this location, then maybe we'll have some different odds. But let's just start. Turn 1. So the first time we're going to walk through this slowly but surely, and then you'll see it move quicker as we go. So sequence of play, the players roll 2d6 to determine the direction of movement. I rolled an 8. If we look at the explore chart and we look at 8, that tells me I want to move this way. But if you notice, if I try to move that way, it puts an arrow to move me here. So I move to this tent. So I make any checks necessary. There's no checks. Now the roaming bandit rolls 2d6. 5. Now, if they have insight, which they don't, well, I could have done it as well. I could have changed where I was facing, but I didn't. The player characters could, so we can see this is 5. That's actually good for us because they're going this way, away from us. But if, for instance, they were coming towards us, we could change their facing. That'll happen eventually, so I'm not going to worry about it. That's a guard post hex, which doesn't mean anything for the roaming bandits. Basically, nothing else happens right now. Now we're going to roll 2d6 plus the number of treasures we've recovered, which is 0. And if the result is 12 or more, we'll add another roaming bandit. It's not. Okay, end of turn 1. Simple as that, right? Turn 2. Player characters go. Ooh, 12. 12 moves straight up, which doesn't really mean anything, but I was excited to roll 12. Again, nothing's going on in that hex. I didn't want to change anything. Next roll is the bandits. They got an 11. 11. Oh, that's good for me too. 11 puts them back up here. Although I don't necessarily want them there when I'm when it's my turn, when I get up there. Okay, that's the end of that turn. Oh, I'm going to roll 2d6 to see if there's another bandit adding to the scene. There's not, because again, I have no treasures right now. Okay, next. Player characters go. 10. 10 moves me this way to the well. We look at the well. +1 recon. That's basically, at the well is we overhear people, getting water, getting food, whatever, and we're gaining some information. So we've added a point of recon. Enemy goes. 9. Okay, that's not good for us because they're moving towards us. Now we roll 2d6 to see if we have any new guards entering the field. Nope. Next turn. 6. Okay. Guards go. 8. I think they're following us. Anything new? Nope. Player characters. 4. Guards. 9. Okay, so when this happens, you basically come back in the other side. Any new monsters? 6, no. Okay. 7 for the player characters. Oh, straight down, okay. That means we're coming into this guard hex. So now something will happen. Okay, in a guard hex, that's a guard post, okay? Upon entering a guard post, roll to see the guard's makeup. The PCs can spend 2 points, insight or recon, to evade the guards. If evasion is impossible, PCs choose not to, roll surprise, etc. per. Okay, so basically we're in a guard post. I'm going to go onto my encounter tables for guard post. Here I roll 1d6 plus the number of treasures the PCs have previously covered and the number of combats they've had, which is 0. 1. Okay, so 1 to 3 bandits with leather armor and daggers. 2 bandits, leather armor, and dagger. Okay, so now we handle this just as normal. We roll for surprise. Neither party is surprised. We roll for encounter distance. 9. Okay, so we are 90 feet away when we make this encounter. Now, at this point, obviously, we're going to have to decide what we want to do. I'm going to roll, I could roll a reaction roll for the guards, which makes the most sense, so let's do that. Okay, that is a negative roll, but not an immediate attack. So I'm going to say they move forward aggressively, but they won't fully charge if they win initiative. They'll kind of come forward saying, hey, who are you? Kind of thing. So let's roll initiative. Black is the enemy, white is the good guys. Oh, simultaneous. Let's roll it again because that will probably matter. Although it doesn't matter because they're not going to actually attack this round unless the PCs attack them first, which they're going to. So as they approach, the 2 elves plus the, basically the party's just going to let loose with I think the 2 elves will just shoot at these guys, 1 each. I don't think that it makes sense for the party to, well, you know what? They're going to just all shoot because we need to kill them in 1 round because we don't want to, again, thinking about the nature of the situation, we do not want to find ourselves in a position where this lingers multiple rounds because maybe something would happen. I'm realizing I didn't factor that into the module, but you play it by ear. All right. So just to keep things fast and simple, I'm going to use abstract combat. And why am I using abstract combat? Well, we have 6 PCs to 2 bandits. That's a 3-to-1 ratio. And when you have a 3-to-1 ratio, you use abstract combat. So longbow basically would effectively be short range versus lightfoot is 1 die per man, 4 to 6 hits. Both of these characters are 1 hit die. So they only fight as one, or they should say they fight as 1 man. But we're in short range, so 1 hit die. But we're in short range, and they get a +1 because of their dex. So 3 dice for the first elf, 2 for the second. Any 6s, any 4 through 6s rather, will kill 1. Okay, that's 3. So they were targeting separate ones though, so okay, they each kill 1. And the reason why that matters is because you can choose to target multiples, but I'm trying to keep my arrow count to the low. So we fired off 2 arrows, and we've killed 2 bandits. That was pretty fast. It happened super quick, in the night, in the rain. We're good to go. I am going to mark this up because that's going to be added now to those rolls because now we've had a combat. Okay, but next, we roll to see what happens with this roaming bandit. 6. Okay, they go here. All right, so here's where, if we're, as long as we're not completely bad with our roll here, I'm going to want to use points because I want to get a major treasure, right? So here we go. Next turn. 6. 6 will be straight down. So if I use 1 point, 2 points, I can come into the major treasure. That's what I'm going to do. So I'll use 2 points. I'll use the recon because I can use either for that. Okay. Now, in the major treasure room, the process is as follows. When the PCs land in a major treasure hex, roll on the major treasure table, adding 1 to the roll per treasure previously recovered. Okay. Major treasures are, as you might imagine, major, which is pretty good. I just took the treasure that was available in this location and just divided it up, putting the most valuable stuff on the top. Okay, so we're rolling 1d6. Oh, actually here, finding a mistake. Here I say plus the number of combats, but I think I'll just do number recovered. I think that makes the most sense. So 1. So they get a necklace worth 1,000 gold pieces. And then I'm going to cross that off because it's not every treasure here is only available once. So if we roll again, we'll get something else. But now I've picked up a treasure. So now I'm going to be adding 2 to those rolls, right? Now again, that was my turn. The next turn is the enemy. They get to go. Let's hope they don't roll a 12. 9. Okay. But now I get to make a choice. I want to keep it. Well, I should have made the choice first, but I do want to keep exploring. I'm not going to try to retreat, which means that I'm going to reset to here. Should have done that before I moved that guy. Now, I'm going to roll 2d6 plus 2, and if I get 12 or more, then another guard hits the streets, if it would be. That's 6 plus 2 is 8, so no. Oh, the guard has moved down into this here, where they get to turn. So next time they will use their ability to turn. So let's start. Again, my turn. 8. Ooh, I don't really want to go that way, but I will. I don't want to use up all my points right now. Rolling for the guard. 7. Okay, they normally would use the point to turn right away, but it makes more sense for them to just go to where they're going, so I'll keep that. And 2d6 plus 2, does another guard enter the field? 10, they do. Okay. Now, here's the thing I didn't mention, because I didn't want to dump all the rules at the beginning. Because they opted to continue exploring, they can't just turn around and leave at any point. They have to either get a combat or any other treasure before they can actually choose to leave. So the party has to do something before they can leave. They can't just go, nope, I'm out. Okay, rolling 2d6 for the party. 10, which puts them right here. Rolling 2d6 for this guy. 5. They go the other way. Again, I'll only use those points if they're in those squares. Rolling 2d6 for the guy at the top. 9. Okay, end of that turn. Next turn. This is the party. 8. Okay, so again, you come through. Comes through here. He's going to end up back there. That's less than ideal, but, you know, it is what it is. Enemy. 3. Enemy number 2. 6. They got a point so they can turn next time. Again, roll to see if something comes into play. We've got 2d6 plus, oh, another, nope, that's 9. So nope, no new enemies. Next turn. 5 for the player characters. Enemy that's right above them. 10. This guy. Again, they can turn once and they will. 8. So again, 8, 9 would be this way, but they want to turn towards the player characters. Although I can only turn 1, right? So I can't turn to there, which I wouldn't want to anyways, because I didn't mention this, but if they end up in any of the treasure hexes, they disappear. That's how you lose them, or defeating them, I guess. So it's telling me to go this way. I'm going to use 1 point to go this way because that'll put me closer to the player characters. Okay. 2d6 plus 2. Nope. So no new person added to the table. Player characters move. 8. First enemy moves. Ooh, 7. Okay. The only good thing about this is, or the good thing about this is that if from this point on, if the player characters want to leave, they can. Okay, we're about to have a combat. Now, this is a roaming guard. So roaming guards, I could spend 3 points of insight if I had it, but I don't. So basically, I'm just going to have to roll. Roll 1d6 plus the number of treasures the PCs have previously covered, plus the number of combats. That's what this total is. So 1d6 plus 2. 1. Oh, that's good. Lower is better. Okay, 1 to 3 bandits with leather and sword. There's only 1 to 3 of them, so let's roll. There's only 1. 1 bandit with leather and sword. All right, so are either group surprised? No. All right, let's roll initiative. This is almost a nothing combat because it doesn't actually... Well, let me roll a reaction for the bandit because he might charge in if he wins initiative. 8 is a positive reaction. So I'm going to say this bandit is not really paying attention. Maybe they think they're a bandit buddy. So they kind of start, well, it's a neutral reaction, but it's on the positive side. So they're kind of like unsure. They're looking. Let's roll initiative. Bandit wins initiative. So they move up, but when they do, the player characters are going to attack them. Now, that's because they can't be seen, right? So here's the thing. And this is one of the interesting things about abstract combat and one of the reasons why I like it. Because in this situation, there are 6 player characters. I mean, yes, with certain roles in other systems, I guess some might be hurt, whatever, but this guy is a heavy foot, which means he's swinging a sword. My average here is actually armored foot because I got 4 guys in plate and 2 people with no armor. A heavy foot versus armored foot, single person, he actually doesn't have any chance of hitting them, right? 1 die per 2. So the bandit can't even hit them if he wanted to. And they're all lightfoot, right? The bandit is lightfoot. I have 6 people here that are going to fight as an average of heavy, 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 heavy. They're all heavy. So heavy versus light, 1 die per minute. I'm going to roll 6 dice with 5s and 6s being kills. The bandit can't hurt them. They're almost certainly going to kill them. I don't need to roll these dice. Basically, they defeat the bandit. It's not worth doing. But that does add another combat. That was a pretty extreme example, but you run into this a bunch, and it's really nice, especially at higher levels, where you just don't have to deal with it. You can just narrate out the combat, and you're done. Okay, this guy hasn't moved yet. Five. Oh. Okay, so I can leave if I want because I had a combat, but I really would like to get at least 1 more treasure. The goal here is to get, I'm probably going to be greedy, but between 3,000 and 4,000 gold pieces worth of treasure would be my goal. That way I can come back a couple times and get these guys leveled up. So we're going to start the next turn. Player characters go. 3. Okay. Enemy goes 4. Oh. Boom. All right. Oh, you know what I didn't do last turn? I'll do it right now. I'm rolling 2d6 plus 3 to see if a new enemy enters the scene. They do. Okay. Okay. They're going to go after this. All right, here we go. We've got to now roll on a roaming bandit. Again, it's plus 3 because we've had 2 combats plus 1 treasure. 5 plus 3 is 8. Oh no. 8 is a hero. This is bad. Okay. In chain and sword plus 2d6 bandits. No, 2 to 6 bandits. So 2d3 basically. So 3 and 2, so 5. So that's a hero. Hero plus 5 bandits. They're in chain with a sword. And the bandits are in leather with sword. If you've been enjoying these videos, and I hope you have if you got this far, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell to get notifications and all that goodness. Also, if you want to support the channel, you can pick up one of my Bandits Keep t-shirts. I have them. I don't have the actual t-shirts, but I have a link to them in the description below. I also have a link down there to my Patreon. You can also support the channel that way. And my Discord, which is a great place to meet other gamers. So jump over there, join the conversation, and I'll talk to you soon.